Good afternoon. Welcome to the last session of this course. I am Shiva Reddy, and I would be discussing and we will be seeing how visualization and dissemination is done in GIS and how it can be useful for your area of study or your project. So if you see, these are this should be, keep in mind, this should be our learning objective. So all the participants at the end of this session, they should be able to appreciate or understand what is link and brush technique and how this link and brush technique of visualization is helpful in decision support tool. How maps are generated and what is the need for atlas generation, right? So all these topics along with the definition, not only definition, but you will also able to see the live demo, how you can generate atlas, how you can create maps, and how they are different from the other visualization technique. Then we'll also see some GIS-based tools to generate interactive web maps, so that once your analysis and everything is ready, you should be able to share this with your your higher management or with the end user in a simple web-based forms, so, which can be interactively accessed. We'll also see how you can use GIS-based tool for real-time field data collection. Right? So it will be more towards practical. So we'll simply discuss what is the concept about different technique, like what is the difference between link and brush, how atlas are generated. Then we'll move ahead to the actual work, hands-on with the actual data, and you will be able to see how we can do these all activities live. My request is to, if you have any questions or doubts, you please keep noting it, and we'll have sufficient time to discuss that also. Okay. So what is link and brush technique? So what happens is, normally we draw maps, we create maps, we sometimes create box plots, we create histograms, we create pie charts. So these are different way of viewing the data. But as the data size is increasing and number of dimensions data increasing, so no one view is sufficient to have the idea about overall data. So in analytics, or when you want to make decision based on data or the mission critical data, you want to view, you want to have maximum possible views of your data. And but since your data is very high dimensional, we can one single view is not sufficient. And for that, to overcome that, multiple views are linked, right? So once multiple views are linked, you will see that when we have multiple views, so problem lies is each view will have one kind of data set and you will see this presentation. But when you want to see multiple views linked together, so what basically link and brush technique we do is, we first visualize data in multiple views. So we have more than one view of the same data. So say one view we are visualizing scatter plots, one view we may be using the histogram, another view we may be seeing the say box plot, and another one view can be your map, where especially we are seeing what is the distribution of spatial data. So these are the three views. Now 3 or 4 views. Now what happens is, they are linked in such a way that once you do brushing means whenever you do interactively select or deselect something in one view, the same selection will happen in all other views. And this technique is called link and brush technique. Right? So link and brush technique, why it is used? Because due to high dimensional data, it is not possible that we create a single view, and there itself we can see everything. So you might have seen in lot of control rooms or dashboard or mission control rooms, many screens are there, right? And each screen represent different parameters. So same way, link and press technique is one step ahead, where not only you are viewing in multiple views, but while interacting, when users select or deselect anything in one view, automatically all other views will correspondingly change. That also we will have the discussion in detail, and we'll also see how it is actually performed in GIS software. In today's class, we will use the open source software QGIS and along with some open source tools, so that all the participants, irrespective of they have the software license or not, they should be able to use it after the class. Second thing which we want to cover is, of course, atlas and map creation we will discuss. The second thing which we will cover today is how you can collect data from field, and how you can use a GIS based architecture where in real time you should be able to map the field data. So the person who is collecting some data information for you from the field, if we are in traditional platform, what will happen is data is collected from the field, then it is sent to some server, and then once server received it, then somebody will download, analyze, and then maps will be generated. Whereas in this GIS based platform, what we are doing is we are transparently linking GIS with the field data collection system, so that as soon as any data is collected along with the location and everything will be visible in the GIS based system, and real time you can see what data is coming from where. So that will reduce lot of lead time between data collection and decision making. At the same time, we also need to make sure that, because our field data collector may be in remote places or there may not be internet. So while real-time mapping is important, but at the same time, we should also support the offline capability. So even if it's out of network, he should be able to collect data, and as soon as he connects to the network, we should get the data to the server, and we should be able to visualize. So keeping both in mind, we at IIRS, what we have developed here is a plugin or a extension of QGIS. It's called Q Real Time. So that will connect to the ODK or XFORM. So XFORM is the industry standard for data collection, either from mobile apps or from the web-based forms. So it's a W3C standard. And so XFORM, any XFORM based softwares or XFORM based compliant data collection systems, to that this plugin can connect. So it is highly interoperable. Only thing, you can use any tool. So today's class will show how you can use ODK aggregate, or you can use Kobo toolbox from UN. So there are multiple solutions based on your requirement. If you are trying to use for your commercial requirement, so then you can use ODK aggregate and deploy yourself, and that system can be used with the already freely and open source available apps like ODK Collect. Or if you are working for, say, government agencies or research agencies and disaster or humanitarian support, so for that kind of users, in order to save the repetitive work of hosting and maintaining software, United Nations Office for Coordinating Humanitarian Affairs, UNOCHA, they have hosted Kobo Toolbox server for researchers and for humanitarian purpose. So from that server, that also is XFORM compliant. That's why that can be connected to Q Real Time, and you can use that to collect data, right? So we will see how it is possible. But when it comes to the data dissemination from the field, we generally XFORM or ODK Open Data Kit has become the industry standard, because it can be scaled up and it has a secure way. People can work offline and online. So generally what happens is, if you are going to use any field data collection software, I'll just quickly review how it is done. So if you, there is a two-way data propagation from the data collector to the data manager or to the organizer. So from the organization, you create a survey form and you give it to the data collector. Data collector then fill that blank survey form and return you back. So this process, if you see in digital workflow, you create a survey, you send to the server, and because all data collector through their mobile apps or web, they are connected with the server. So as soon as you create a blank survey form, that form is available at the server, they will start seeing it and they will keep filling it so that once they fill it, they'll fill the submitted form. That is the current workflow. So what we have done here in using QRealTime is, while creating the survey, generally what happens is survey can be a spatial or non-spatial. So survey forms are created independently and uploaded to the server. There are a lot of tools. I think my colleague might have already covered, like ODK Build and other tools which can use to create a survey form. Then once survey form is created, people start collecting data and sending back here. Then if you want to do any GIS based analysis, you have to manually download this data. Then in regular interval, if you want to keep updating, you have to write some external scripts, or you have to manually again keep updating this data, downloading and visualizing in GIS. Though of course big organization, that may not be an issue, but of course it increases the lead time between data collection to the actual mapping or decision making. To overcome that, what we have done is, we have made a plugin QRealTime. What basically does is it connects GIS layer with the aggregate server. So whatever GIS layer we have, or so now GIS user need not to bother about create some survey forms for ODK or any XForm based compliant servers or then upload. So GIS user or the user who is using GIS system can directly convert his GIS layer into a XForm. So what you create normal GIS layer, like how you create data collection layer, which we already discussed in the earlier session. So you can create a simple GIS layer, start editing data, and sometimes you feel that, okay, it is not possible for me to do everything from here. I need to collect some data from field. So in that case, you don't need not to worry about much about how to collect data, synchronize. You just right click on your layer and using QRealTime make it online. So as soon as you create make online, this will be converted into XForm and uploaded to the server, and all the field data people will can now see that, okay, one new layer has come, one new survey has come for which data need to be collected from the field. So they start collecting data from the field. So the same layer on which you are working and you want some data to be added into the layer, for that people are started collecting data from the field and they will keep sending to the server. And using the import or sync button, which is also available again in the, you can right click in the your layer and you can use this button to, if you keep sync, suppose sync 60 seconds you have made a setting. So once you make sync on, automatically each 1 minute the software in the background will keep checking for server for any new data, and that new data will be keep added to the your existing GIS layer. So in that way it acts as a remote digitizer. So though people are collecting data from mobile, they are actually creating spatial data for you, and directly that data will come to your GIS layer. So one copy is already in the server and the replica of that will be added to your GIS layer. So this overall, this whole interaction will make possible that in near real time or in real time, you will able to collect data and map it. So this has many advantages. That's why a lot of people, including Red Cross and WHO, health workers, and some humanitarian purpose, and many more. These are the one I'm mentioning which are using it for public good, but there are many commercial operators also who are using this type of technology to support near real-time field data collection. So this overall, this QRealTime framework, which we're going to discuss today class also. So it will help you in doing this. So this help you in disseminating data. So from organization to, suppose you have thousands of field workers, so you want a change in the data collection form. So that dissemination, if you want to do, is very simple. You just create a new version of that, and that everybody will know that, okay, there is some change in data collection, and all of the data collector will be sending the same data to you. And the data aggregation and data aggregation is already automated, as we can see that why we ODK based technology like XFORM based technologies. Now on top of that, we have also integrated GIS. And so once it comes to GIS, you have already seen there are a lot of analytic techniques, spatial analysis, network analysis, lot of things you can do on this collected data. But if you do otherwise, what will happen in majority of the time, organization time and energy will be spent on integrating and geocoding and then bringing this data to the GIS. So that task is reduced. So we'll today's session we will see this. So these are the 3 plugins which I am going to use today. You can also just make a note of it. One is Data Plotly. Data Plotly plugin of QGIS use Plotly library. This is very powerful even in the non-GIS domain for interactive plotting and interactive designing. And that using this plugin, we are able to use all this functionality into GIS. Then we'll also use QGIS to web. Once we have done all analysis, many times it is not possible, or we don't want just to create maps and send, but we want it to be exported as web. Again, because you have done a lot of work like styling, changing the style, color, symbology, everything for GIS. Now, as a enterprise, we cannot expect same thing need to be done again for the web. So what basically, again, like QRealTime convert your GIS layer into XFORM. Similarly, QGIS to web converts your GIS layer and symbology into web. So into HTML and CSS and related tech using the JavaScript libraries like Leaflet, or again, user will get option. You want a Leaflet based solution, or you want open layer based solution, or you want Mapbox based solution. So using so it will convert your GIS project into a web project, and that can be exported to the FTP location or normal folder, and that can be kept in your web server. So basically, again, task is, if you are learning GIS, you are investing a lot of time in GIS. So once you are ready with all the analysis, once you want to share this with the end users, so you should not need to done a whole exercise just because technologies are different. So these tools are basically a translator from QGIS to web. Like this is a third-party plugin. The QRealTime plugin, this is in-house developed at IIRS. This plugin converts, as we discussed, for the layer to XFORM and vice versa. And this is only one way. So layer to web you can convert. These 3 tools we are going to discuss today. So what our demonstration will include is, we'll first thing we'll see how basically custom visualization means, how by default once layers are open in GIS, how can it change its layer style, what are the different ways. Then we'll use Data Plotly libraries to explore what is link and brush technique, right? Once that is done, next thing is to generate maps. So how we can generate maps, so what is the process of map composition, how we create maps, how you can export this map into such a format that non-GIS user can also use it. Then we also see what is the requirement of Atlas. Atlas means maps of similar kind of maps, but for different regions. So say my map have 10 districts, so I can generate similar kind of maps for 10 districts. I can have 100 districts, I can have 1,000 sub districts. So individually I cannot generate. So what you do, you generate for one, you create map for one, then you use Atlas functionalities to generate multiple maps with change in the spatial extent. So that also we'll see. So then finally we see how you can export this into web-based format and use it for further dissemination. And finally, what it will be interactive session. I would be sharing link with you guys. So you need to fill some data, and we'll see in the real time as you are filling the data at your end. You can see that data is coming at the your GIS panel, and you can real time with the location of all the users, we can see that from where this data is submitted and what is the data filled by the end user. So it will be interactive in the sense I will create the survey form and I will send link to you guys, same link, using the link either using mobile phone or using your desktop computer from where you are attending lecture. You can fill this, and as soon as you submit your data, it will come back to here and we will able to visualize this, right? So last thing is interactive. So I may take some time, give some time, maybe 5 minutes, so that you can collect data, and once we come back, we'll visualize this data, see what are the response from the end user, and then we'll take the questions, right? So that is the today's plan. I hope link and brush technique is clear to you. Again, once we do in the demonstration, again it will be further clarified. Okay. So now I open QGIS. Yes. So this is the base data which we have been using. So if you see how to visualize, so this like we have Uttarakhand village level information. I can go to properties, right? In the properties, by default, you may have seen that it will be like single symbol. So yeah, lot of data. So it's taking some time. Uh, just give a minute. I think there's some problem here. So I will just simply close it. Yes. So yeah, sorry for this. So what happened is we have removed the symbology, and if you see this yellow one, this is just for the selected features. So if we can remove the selection, that will also go. Right. So I can, yeah. So selection is done. So by default, when you open any layer, so it will have, so by default, whenever you open any layer, it will have this kind of symbology. So some random number colors will come. So to change that symbology, you go to the properties and you go to the symbology, and whatever changes we are doing, like labeling, symbology, these all things are called as a style. And once you do style, you can always export and save this style, and by default in your project this style are saved. Suppose I want to categorize based on the name of the sub districts, like this is Dehradun, so sub districts. So if I want to categorize and I want to give random color, so what I have done is I went to symbology. I choose in place of single symbol, I choose as a category, and I have chosen the district names as the category, and I have classified based on the district names. And I am applying this, and once it is applied, the symbology will change. It will take some time. So this is the place. Okay, fine. So we are able to connect this data, and now you can see we have, based on different districts, we have different colors, right? So in the attribute, you can see what is the location of the data, right? Everything you are easily able to see. Now I have changed the symbology, right? So once I have changed the symbology, you can see that different layers are looking differently. So all these villages belong to one particular region, and this belong to one particular region. So there are 4 sub districts, and each 4 sub districts are looking differently. Now further I will go here, and what I want to do is I want to label. So I can label based on some rule. So you can put a filter, you can put label as a village name, you can put right, or you can put label for each village. So I can choose name here, and once I say okay, so once you put okay, you see all the villages will have now label also. So based on their name, you can see how each village will have its name. So far what we have done is we have changed the colors. So irrespective, like single color to all polygons based on their sub district names, we are giving different color to each sub district. Then each village now we are labeling with its name. So now in the map, so the default symbology you are changing by giving name to the layer, and also you are giving uh, making color based on the sub district it belongs. So because there are so many labels and so many dimensions, it's taking some time, but Yeah, so there's some error with my system. So now you can see that each village is labeled with its name. So color tells which subdistrict it belongs, and if you zoom into any of the layer, you can see corresponding name. Right. So now again, if you want to zoom back to full extent, you can say zoom to layer. Right. So you can see there are a lot of labels. So you can always enable or disable labels. So what we have done till now is we have seen in the symbology in place of normal single color, I can have categorized. Similarly, I can use other like gradual changing colors. So there are a lot of way I can change the symbology. Now, if you are in QGIS, you can use this layer styling panel. This panel is also provided so interactively you can change what you want to do. Suppose you want to change label to no label. So say actually the label is disabled. Now again, if you want to enable label, you can choose the label name. Automatically name has come. In place of name, you can use the code, you can use the ID, right? Or you can use like custom calculator. So suppose what I want to do is I want to visualize label each field. So based on how many working female population is there. So it tells that how many working female population is there in each village in the data. You can zoom in, you can see. If you are not satisfied, you want to see ratio of total, say we have another field for male. You want to see as a per 100. So now you can see 25, right? So the 85%. So there are more female. Female to male ratio is 85. There is 99, 105. So there are a lot of ways you can visualize different fields. So for quick interface, because the live update is there. So as soon as you do any changes, it is applied, and that for that you can right click and use the layer styling panel. So layer styling panel also allow you to interactively change the data attributes, right? So we have seen how we can change the label to single label to no label. So there is no label. Then in the style you can do categorize, and similarly from categorize you can use colors for say graduated. So you have to choose the value. So I will choose value like here. If I want to choose value, so total, yes. So and then I have to say classify. So these are the based on the population itself, and if I can decrease this precision. So now if I want to divide it into total, so you can write directly write here the male into 100, and you delete all, you classify again. So this tells what is the ratio. So their maximum ratio where you can see is up to 166 also. The ratio is there. So per 1000 if you want to see. So again, I am making equal quantile. So per 1,000, you can see what is the difference between them, and you can increase or decrease the precision. Right. So there are many ways by which you can do this, or for categorization, I can simply use the earlier one for the simplicity, the district name, and classify. So right. So we have seen that to change the you can see that everybody can see what is the symbology here. You can use either go to property and layer, or you can directly use layer styling. Somehow layer styling is more interactive and working faster than the going to the properties. Then if you want to change the color, that is also possible. You can change the color for each individually, or you can use some color ramp like here. So you can change the color ramps. So there are multiple options by which you can create the categories. Yes. So this is about the styling. So you can change multiple ways styling. And then further, if you want to save this style in interoperable format, so we have option in the style. You can export them, copy them, and then paste into another layer, or you can export them into as a separate style. In the properties symbology, we have style here option. So you can save and export. This style can be exported so that the whatever symbology you have used can be preserved. Right. So changing the symbology, changing the style, that was the first part that we are able to do. Now second thing, let's see how we can use interactive plotting for activity. For that, you need to have data plotly, and we have enabled data plotly enabled here. Now I want to see say what kind of chart. I want to create a histogram, and in the histogram what you want to see is you can always set what you want to set, see in X and Y, what you want to see in Y. So basically, we want to plot from this data what are the percentage of people. Yeah, this is fine. So I just create a plot. So we have created two plots earlier, pie chart. So just to have, I will clean it, then create a plot. Yes, so this tells us about number of, for each district, what is the, one second here. So right, so I can have description here. So if you want to create any plot, I just choose say simple scatter plot I want to create. So I need to choose X field and Y field. So X field, if I have villages, so let's have a village name, and Y field is the population. I create a plot. So there are so many villages, so there's a lot of clutter here. So I say only visible features. So what will happen is now if I see the plot here, there are so many. If I zoom to some region, automatically for this region, what are the visible village names? They are subsetted. So whatever selection I am doing here, corresponding scatter plot I can see here. If I do a selection here, I can see corresponding villages here. So I want to see what are these outliers. So I just do the selection here, entire selection. If I want to do only see where are they, so these are here. And so in this way, you can check where are the outliers. So out of this visible, and here you can see. Similarly, if I want to have a box plot, right? So I'll just create a new plot here. So you can see there are, based on each grouping is optional. So I will remove the grouping, update plot. Now this is the blocks plot of the female population here. So you can say from 0 to 1000. Then once you do the selection, so for this area, you can see what is the total population. So max, so this is the mean value. And if I use this to come down and come to more urban area here, so you can see that box plot is again very less. Here, go here. So there is a wide range. So too much outliers, right? So if you select any region here, right? So what I can do further here, I can use for visible and selected. So now if I select multiple polygons, right? So now I'm making a selection here, right? So for this selection, I want to see a plot. So you can see box plot here. If I select only one, it's a simple one. If you select multiple, your box plot is getting updated. So we have seen that both way you can interact. Now let's come to a histogram, and here I want to group them based on the, this is optional, but I can group them on sub-district name, and create a plot here. So in this selection, we have some selection for the Vikas Nagar, some for Dehradun, and some for Rishikesh. So this is only for one village. If I remove this selected feature option and update, then what will happen is the chart will be for all the visible area. So as I move across, you can see that this plot will change. Right, out of the visual area, there are two zones, and if I zoom to entire layer, so entire district, you will get this histogram. Now if I want to select anything, yeah, so these areas are selected. Vikas Nagar is selected. If I select here, so interactively we can make selection. So currently we have seen how we can do it for, say, one particular attribute. Similarly, there is option where you can create for multiple attributes, like, or you can have custom expression to calculate. Like here, if I want to create a pie chart, in place of this, if I see here, yeah, so this plot. So I am seeing that out of the total working population, female population, 38.4 is the maximum one. If you select here, so this corresponding district is selected. Then second is Chakrata. And then if I select here, automatic selection is done here. So in this way, and now because this is based on the visible region, so I can zoom into some areas. And in this area, also I can see what is the distribution across sub-districts based on this. Okay, sub-district is fine, but if I want to watch village-wise, then it becomes tricky because there are a lot of villages. So that you can see here. So the pie chart will be very segregated. Yeah, see, so this way, this township has the maximum population. Now, if I zoom in here, because I am only interested in this area, suppose, so automatically price is distributed. Further, I can zoom in into some 4 or 5 villages. So the chart will be so among this area, if you want to see which village has the maximum contribution, so usually directly you can see. So this area has 10, this has 9, right? So again, suppose village wise pie chart if you want to see, and if you don't have this option, so what will happen is this is once I make zoom to layer, you will see that pie chart with lot of proportion, all the villages, more than 400 villages you will see here, right? So this is the problem. But if my requirement is village level, then best thing is if I watch interactively and I keep zooming into my area for each region, I can see what is the pie chart contribution. So this is the majority population resides here. So same, that's why even if the maximum extent, you can see this, right? So this link and brush technique helps us in identifying. See, I can identify next bigger plot, the CKS area, and further if you go, you can see this orange one. This is also dense area. Then you can see the East Hope town. So I can easily see out of my area which are the populous areas based on my query. And further, this is also can be further divided by. So I can write a custom queries, like here I want to have the ratio. So total work. Yes, so I can ratio of total female versus total say male. So now this is what I want, and if I see this ratio, then my chart will change dynamically. So I have to update. Now I'm seeing ratio of working female population versus working male population, and that may be very useful, this kind of information. Here we are not able to see any one particular area or particular region which have dominates. So distribution is different here, right? Now further, if I zoom in here, so earlier we have seen that if you only see the population, then it was biased. You can see the 24% of the entire female working population was lying in the area. But if you see the male to female ratio, then things are different. Right. So So this is the earlier map which we are seeing here. So out of this visible area, this is the condition how this population are distributed, and if you do selection here, automatically selection is done here. So this is called link and bridge technique. This helps you in interactively selecting and using it for decision making. So you can select extend here, or you can select extend there. You can use multiple plots, charts. It is up to you what you want to do. But like I want a box plot. Right. So each village, I want a box plot, and I want to group them based on the sub districts. So we have 4 sub districts. For each sub district, I can see the box plot. What is the distribution, right? And you can always zoom to some map, right? And if you want to do some selection, so see, this is Vikas Nagar. So if you do some selection here, this is selected. And if you don't want to group them, that is also fine. So you'll get a single box plot. And now we can zoom in here. So this is the box plot. And if I select any point here, so if I want to make a selection, I can see what is the distribution. And once, yeah, double clicking, this is the C. So some places are higher, and so this is the box plot outlier. And once I double click, and this is the area. So you can keep zooming in, and after zooming in, you can move to anyone, and you can select, compare data. You can see how it is, what are the area it covers. If we do any selection here, now what I want to do, I want to update based on the selection, this box plot, right? So if I do selection here, so this is the block plot for this area. If I do selection here, so you can see the distribution is different in this zone. So what, based on the selection, your map will be updated. So each area, wherever you want the distribution to see what is the mean value. In this region, mean value is around 50, and in this region, mean value is again around 50. But if you select this region, so mean value is very low, right? So you can see the scale has been dynamically changed. So if you can, if you disable this dynamic update size, then the scale will not change. Due to the anomalies, your scale is very high. So you can see that mean value is less than 50 here in this region. So that's how interactively we can see how the population and the population or any other attribute is changing by selection based on what you want to do. So there are 2 ways. One is based on the visible feature, another is based on the selected feature. So selection can be interactively done. Right. Now we have this data about districts. Then we have another layer, like we have all the dairies location here in Dehradun. Then we have the bulk chiller size, and these are the village collection centers. Now this data you have plotted, and I have categorized based on the sub districts. Right now, this data, if I want to export into web, so after doing all symbology correction, if you want, you can change the symbology of this point layer also, like we done for all. So what we can do is we can use QGIS to web option to export that into 1 second. Yes. So export that, go to QGIS to web, create web map. So I have layer, bulk chiller, dairy, village collection center. So from these also, what are the things which you want to show? So, right. So suppose I want to make them as a cluster. So you just choose what library you want. I want a leaflet. I say update preview. So this is the preview updated. If you want to change anything in appearance, you can change from here. So like address search, you can disable. So this will get disabled here now. So geolocate user, you can keep it, right? And you can have measuring tool. So all of these things are here. Now we can also decide what should be the extent. So again, after changes, just need to update the preview. Right. Now I can export this into a folder. So I can give the location where I want to export. So let's create a folder here, QGIS to web. Now here I want to save. So in this folder, all this data will be saved. And there are other options which you always, which we layer to be visible, which should have pop-up, which should not have pop-up. That also you can enable, disable. Like this, I don't want pop-up. That is fine. And right, upload, and all setting we have done. So now I can safely export this entire map into a web. So you just see the preview. If you are satisfied with the preview, you go to export. So it is already exported. So what I will do is I will go to my desktop, find out the folder which I have created. Yes. And in this folder, I have the entire folder. It has CSS file and it has the index.html file. If I open this in any browser, see. So now whatever we are doing in the GIS, same thing is now available. You hover on anything, you get its fields. You can zoom in. You can, now we have 59 points. So again, they are, because I have enabled cluster. So again, here 18 points. So now this point distribution, again 3 points. So now I can see individual points. I can geolocate my, so if I allow, it will zoom into my area where I am now. And here is the Amul Dairy Collection Center is here. So this is simply, I am using normal browser. So what basically we have done here is we have exported our GIS map into simple web-based format where you can interactively see all these areas. And there are multiple options which you can always try it out using this plugin. So again, if you want to install any such kind of plugin, you can go to manage and install plugins option here. You can search for the plugin, like if you want to search for data plotly, you can install QGIS 2 web, you can install, right? Now finally, I will see how we can interactively collect data using Q real time and visualize at the real time. So this plugin is already installed. So what basically I will do is I will create a new layer, and this layer I am creating and I'm creating for say SCM visualization class feedback. So I say SCM visualization, right? So SCM visualization, SCMV. I save it. I create a point layer. I say okay. So this layer is created, and this layer is blank. So I want to add some fields to it. So you go to properties. I'm just showing, and this layer, actual data will be filled by you guys. So I will share this link with you. So that link can then be used for. So in the fields, I want to add some fields. So I start editing. I will delete this. I will create a field where basically first field is string field, which basically take your name. Okay. Then second field would be, let's say, I want to take your, if you want to send any selfie or picture. So selfie. So again, it will be text because I want to save the address of your selfie. So okay. So another which I want to take is selfie. I want to take for your feedback, and of course feedback I want to take as a number. Fine. So this is also fine. So I have created 3 fields. I say okay. So now if I want to add this point location, if you click any place, it will ask for name, selfie, and feedback. But I don't want name, of course user will type, but other fields I want user should be able to select, right? So number, like he can type any number. I don't want that. So I want to give some selection. So what basically I will do is, again, if you go to the style in the layer properties, there attribute form option. So name is simple text edit. Selfie, I want to make it as an attachment. Basically selfie would be a photograph or any uploaded file which you want to send. So that's why I made widget type as a attachment. And the feedback, not range, but I want a value map. Means say value is 1, so it is bad. If value is 2, it is good. 3, it is very good. And 4, excellent. Right? So only 4 values I want. So what basically, if you, description is bad means value is 1, description is good, value is 2, description very good means value is 3, and description bad means is excellent. So description 4, value 4, and description is excellent, right? So I say okay. So now if I see here, what will happen if I want to digitize any point? So now it will give me these options. That is what I wanted, right? I want user to select something, and based on the selection, automatically number will be saved. And here auto, you can attach any file. Very good. So this we have done in GIS. So normally you can digitize, but I don't want that. I don't want to digitize myself. I want users to collect data. So basically, I have in the QRealTime plugin, I have already provided address of the server for which you can create account. And now that's why I will directly say make online. So basically it will create a form in the Kobo toolbox server, and that so layer is online and Kobo this is ready. So if you are if you have app and you're connected to same server which I am connected, you could have directly collected. But because you don't have app, what I am going to do is I will going to share this link with you guys. So those who are interested, they can create the account here. So that is simple one, right? So I will log in. So you'll see that what I have done there, this is available in the server now, and I will just share that link with you guys. Right. So this link is here. This is already created. I want to open. Yes. Very good. So I'm just sharing this in my chat box, and I request organizers, so please share this with the participant. And you start filling the data. For the demo purpose, if you can see, this link I have already shared with you guys. So now, if I fill any data here, so yeah, this is my lat long. My name is Shiva, and I'm not uploading any photo. I'm saying, okay, very good. And I am submitting it. So you can see as soon as submit, your data would be here and it will be uploaded after some time. So it all means it, even if you're not connected, it will keep in caching here. Now here, if I want to see the feature count is 0. If I want to see data has come or not, I can import it. Yes. So now if I zoom to layer, I have to. So this is my location, and this is the data which I have created in the web, and that is available here now, right? And if I click on this attribute, right? So I can see my feedback, everything is here. So now what I will do is I make sync on, and I request, okay, I will make sync on later. So now I request all of you to please use this link to submit your responses, and these responses will be visualized here. Okay. I request organizer to share this with the participant. Avinash, can you share this to participant? Okay, great. So now because this is shared, so now I'll say sync on, and let's see each 1 minute. Each 1 minute, I can see how many people are selecting this data. I can show this link in presentation, bigger font, so that Sorry for that. This is the link. I think most of you can see it, and it also already sent in the, I guess. So basically, humanitarian response info x/6r2dpsssy. Yes. So I can see already 14 observation has come. So if I zoom to layer, I can see there are 14 points. So this is from Navjot. Another I can see from here it is from Buria. So he has sent this image also, right? So this is from Harani, Abdul Azim, right? So what I will do is to have the overview from where people are sending this data. I will just enable the OpenStreetMaps and disable all other layers. So we have total 18 submissions now. So yes. Yes, so this is the distribution, right? So from various area we have the data. So 30 data has come. So now what I can do is I can go here, right? I can create a pie chart and select feedback, and by default would be the feedback, and I can create canvas and create plot. And So we have 53 submissions now. So I just want to create the create a histogram, grouping field is feedback. I say create plot. So I have like 2 by the 10 participant, 3 by the around less than between 20-25 participants, and I have around more than 25 for as a excellent. Yes. So out of 66, this is the distribution of different feedback what we have received. Yes. So 59% has given, these are the points who have given us 4 points. These are the, again, if I select this, these are the few points here who have given us 3 points, 2 points, and 53, 31% has given us 2 in the feedback. So remember, because I have made sync on, so each 1 minute it is checking data and the responses keep getting updated. Okay, thank you very much. So if you have a question, you can ask. We will break for 5 minutes.